The Whispering Stones. The Scottish Highlands of the 1600s were wild and untamed, a land of misty glens and ancient secrets. In the village of Dunbray, healer Ailis lived with her daughter, Isla. Ailis was known for her knowledge of herbs and healing. Her skill was unmatched, and the villagers often sought her aid. But as whispers of witchcraft spread, fear began to take hold. Father Douglas, the village priest, was zealous in his pursuit of purity. He preached against the old ways, seeing them as devilish. His eyes often lingered on Ailis with suspicion. One evening, a terrible storm struck Dunbray. The wind howled like a banshee, and lightning split the sky. The villagers huddled in their homes, fearing the wrath of dark forces. The next morning, a cow was found dead, its body twisted unnaturally. Panic spread, and accusations flew. Father Douglas claimed it was the work of a witch, and all eyes turned to Ailis. Despite her protests of innocence, Ailis was seized and brought to the village square. Father Douglas declared her a witch, and she was sentenced to death. Isla watched in horror. "Mother," Isla cried, but her voice was drowned out by the jeers of the crowd. Ailis was thrown into a makeshift prison, her fate sealed. Isla vowed to save her mother, no matter the cost. That night, Isla visited Ailis in the prison. "There is a way," Ailis whispered. "The ancient stones in the Highlands hold a secret. Find them, and you may prove my innocence." Isla's heart pounded with determination. She slipped out of the village under the cover of darkness, her mind set on finding the mystical stones her mother spoke of. The journey was arduous. Isla climbed steep hills and crossed swift rivers, the cold wind biting at her skin. She clung to her mother's words, her hope unwavering. As dawn broke, Isla reached a secluded glen. In the center stood a circle of ancient stones, their surfaces etched with strange symbols. They seemed to hum with a silent power. Isla approached the stones cautiously. She remembered her mother's teachings about the old ways and the druids who once walked these lands. She knew this place held great significance. Placing her hands on the nearest stone, Isla felt a warmth spread through her. The symbols began to glow faintly, and a voice, soft as a whisper, filled her mind. "Seek the heart." The voice guided Isla to the center of the stone circle. There, she found a small, weathered altar. On it lay a stone tablet inscribed with more symbols. It seemed to pulse with energy. Isla deciphered the symbols using the knowledge her mother had passed down. The tablet spoke of a ritual that could reveal the truth, but it required ingredients from the surrounding land. Determined, Isla set off to gather the necessary items: heather from the highest peak, water from a sacred spring, and a feather from a white raven. Each task tested her resolve. On the peak, she found the heather blooming amidst the rocky terrain. The sacred spring, hidden deep within a forest, offered her its crystal-clear water. The white raven was the trickiest. Isla followed the raven for hours, her patience wearing thin. Finally, it perched on a branch and dropped a single feather at her feet, as if understanding her quest. She thanked it gratefully. With the items in hand, Isla returned to the stone circle. She placed them on the altar and recited the ancient words inscribed on the tablet. The air around her crackled with energy. The stones glowed brighter, and a vision appeared before Isla's eyes. She saw her mother, but also something more, the true cause of the village's misfortunes, an unnatural blight in the land. The vision showed Father Douglas praying fervently, but his prayers twisted into curses, inadvertently summoning dark forces. His fear and hatred had brought the evil upon Dunbray. Isla's heart raced. She had to share this revelation with the villagers. She gathered her belongings and hurried back to Dunbray, hoping she wasn't too late to save her mother. As Isla neared the village, she saw the townsfolk gathering in the square. Father Douglas stood on a platform, ready to pronounce judgment. Ailis was bound beside him, looking pale but resolute. "Stop," Isla shouted, pushing through the crowd. "I have proof of my mother's innocence." The villagers murmured, uncertain. Father Douglas glared at her, but she stood her ground. Isla recounted her journey and the vision revealed by the stones. She described the blight and how Father Douglas's own actions had brought darkness upon them. The crowd listened intently. "Lies!" Father Douglas roared. "This girl is bewitched, trying to save a witch." But the villagers were no longer certain. They knew Isla and her mother's kindness and doubted his harshness. Finley, the blacksmith, stepped forward. "Let the lass speak," he said. "We all know Isla and her mother. If there's a chance she's right, we must hear her out." His words swayed the crowd. Isla continued, explaining the ritual and the ancient knowledge of the druids. She showed the feather, the heather, and the water, recounting the trials she faced to gather them. The villagers exchanged glances, their fear of witchcraft warring with their trust in Isla and the weight of her words. Slowly, they began to murmur in agreement, emboldened by Finley's support. Father Douglas's face twisted in fury. "This is nonsense. Sorcery." But even he could see the tide turning. The villagers were no longer as willing to blindly follow his accusations. Isla placed the items on the ground before the villagers and recited the ancient words once more. The air shimmered, and a ghostly image of the vision she had seen appeared for all to witness. Gasps filled the square as the villagers saw the truth. The image of Father Douglas praying and summoning dark forces was undeniable. The evidence was clear, and fear began to shift to understanding. "What have you done?" a villager cried out to Father Douglas. Others echoed the sentiment, their voices rising in anger. The priest stepped back, his authority crumbling before their eyes. Finley moved to free Ailis from her bonds. "We owe you an apology," he said, his voice filled with regret. "We were blinded by fear." Ailis nodded, her eyes filled with relief and gratitude. Father Douglas tried to flee, but the villagers surrounded him, their faces set with determination. "You've caused enough harm," one man said. "It's time you faced the consequences." With Father Douglas restrained, the villagers turned to Ailis and Isla. "What should we do?" a woman asked. "How can we make amends for our mistakes?" Ailis and Isla shared a glance. "We must heal the land," Ailis said. "The blight must be cleansed. Together, we can restore balance." The villagers nodded, willing to follow her lead and mend the rift they had caused. Over the next few days, Ailis, Isla, and the villagers worked tirelessly. They used the knowledge of the old ways to purify the fields, cleanse the water, and renew their connection to the land. Slowly, the blight began to lift. The fields grew green and vibrant once more, and the animals that had fallen ill started to recover. The villagers' faith in the old ways was restored. The ancient stone circle became a place of reverence. The villagers visited it regularly, leaving offerings and seeking guidance, rediscovering their heritage and the wisdom of the druids. Isla stood by her mother's side, proud of what they had achieved together. "You've done well, my daughter," Ailis said, her voice filled with pride. "You've saved not just me, but our village." The bond between mother and daughter grew even stronger. Isla continued to learn from Ailis, mastering the ancient practices and ensuring the knowledge would be passed down through generations. Finley, the blacksmith, became a close friend to Isla and Ailis. His support had been crucial, and he continued to aid them, forging tools and helping to protect the village. The villagers came to respect Ailis and Isla even more, seeing them as protectors and keepers of ancient wisdom. The fear that had once threatened to destroy them was replaced with trust. Father Douglas was sent away, exiled for his actions. The villagers vowed never to let fear and superstition cloud their judgment again. They had learned the importance of understanding and knowledge. The seasons changed, and Dunbray thrived. The village became a beacon of hope, showing how embracing heritage and ancient wisdom could lead to harmony and prosperity. Isla often visited the stone circle, feeling the whispers of the past guiding her. The stones had become a symbol of strength and resilience, a reminder of what they had overcome. One evening, as the sun set over the Highlands, casting a golden glow on the glen, Isla and Ailis stood together at the stone circle, their hearts filled with peace and pride. "The stones will always whisper their secrets," Ailis said softly. "It is up to us to listen and learn." Isla nodded, knowing that their journey had only just begun. The village of Dunbray was no longer a place of fear but of wisdom and unity. The old ways and the new ways coexisted, creating a future where knowledge and tradition walked hand in hand. Isla's story spread throughout the Highlands, inspiring other villages to look to their heritage for answers, to seek balance and harmony rather than giving in to fear and superstition. As the years passed, Isla became a respected healer in her own right, her mother's teachings living on through her. She never forgot the lessons she learned from the whispering stones. The bond between Isla and her mother remained unbreakable. Together, they ensured the village never again turned to fear and suspicion but instead embraced wisdom and compassion. Dunbray flourished under their guidance, a testament to the strength of knowledge and the power of heritage. The villagers thrived, their lives enriched by the ancient wisdom they had reclaimed. The ancient stone circle remained a place of power and reverence, a reminder of the journey Isla and Ailis had undertaken to save their village and themselves from the grip of fear. Isla often shared stories with the children of Dunbray, teaching them about the old ways and the importance of understanding and respecting their heritage. The children listened in awe. The story of the Whispering Stones became a cherished legend, a symbol of the bravery and wisdom of those who had come before. It was a story that would never be forgotten. As the sun set each day over the Highlands, casting its golden light on the land, Isla knew that the spirit of the ancient Druids lived on, guiding and protecting them always. And so, the village of Dunbray lived in peace, forever grateful to Isla, Ailis, and the Whispering Stones that had shown them the true path to harmony and understanding.